Good afternoon, Bryan, and it's wonderful for you to come along to our head office in Wollongong, and it's a big trip from WA to Wollongong, and we really appreciate you coming along. Viewers, we have with us today Bryan Negus from the Pathfinder Property Group. He's been a wonderful assistant of ParkTrent over many, many years. We've sold many of their properties, and Bryan has a new venture that he'd like to share with you today and also share with the ParkTrent Properties Group. Bryan, tell me about Velocity.
Thank you for having me, Ron. Velocity Cannington is our next project in Perth. Last year we completed a $50 million development, which was our stage one. This is our second stage of the development. It's a large mixed-use development located next door to Perth's largest shopping centre, Westfield Carousel.
That was Momentum?
That was Momentum, our stage
well,
one.
We actually sold some in there, Bryan. You're forgetting that.
No, not at all. Not at all. We're very grateful for that as well. So Momentum, we currently manage about 50 of the completed apartments in there for our investors.
If I just take you back to that product, we actually sold quite a few, and our clients have elected for you to manage them, but you've provided them with a furniture package.
Correct.
And also a rental guarantee.
That's correct.
And a substantial. So our clients are very happy with the arrangement.
Yeah, and we're very happy with the arrangement as well. We feel quite comfortable giving the rental guarantee. Most of the time we're at 100% occupancy, and since the completion of the building we've seen rents gently grow as well, which has been a very positive sign.
I have had a question from a couple of our Memento Coast clients. After the 2-year rental guarantee that you've provided, will you continue to manage them for the clients? Will you extend the guarantee?
We will continue to manage the properties for the clients, and if the guarantee needs to be extended, something we can negotiate at the time. Okay,
but in likelihood, the amount that they'll be renting for them in the future will be higher than you're renting them today, so they might need that guarantee.
That's correct, and that's why we feel comfortable giving it at the moment. A lot of our one-bedder properties, in fact, we had them valued last week for another client. Our one-bed apartments in Momentum, had a market rental value of $320 a week. Mm-hmm. Which is a very strong yield for those properties.
And they were purchased for under $300,000.
Yes.
Yeah, lovely. Well, another little thing I'd like to ask, which I've been asked by our clients, is what happens to the furniture package if that apartment is 2 years rental guarantee and then they continue on and the furniture package stays with the apartment?
That's correct. The furniture package becomes the property of the purchaser.
Of the owner. So you just transfer the title of the furniture to the owner.
That's correct. So they get the depreciation benefits of that as well.
That's wonderful. That's a great offer for our viewers here today. So let's talk about this new one then. I'm more excited now about the new one. So it's Velocity is its name. Am I saying it right?
Velocity Cannington is its name. It's located in the Canning City Centre as well. We're very excited about it. It's a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom apartments. We have 5 retail tenancies on the ground floor. Okay.
We do have some shots of this project that we can share with our viewers today, and it'll show you the building. And look, we've already had some interest from some clients in it. What's driving it really from our point of view is the price point. Understanding, and we've been involved in the market in quite a lot in Western Australia, and we've seen the market readjust, correction if you like, a substantial correction from 2013. It's come back considerably, but that's reflected in the price of these apartments that you're pricing. Can you believe this, that we can deliver to you, and I'll just check this for you to make sure I'm saying the right thing in the Bryan, a large one bedroom with a car park, unheard of in Sydney at this price, and storage for $299,000.
That's correct, yes.
How can you do it? What's the secret? We want to share it with our developers in the eastern states.
Look, our secret is design efficiency. So a lot of what I do as a developer comes down to actually building design. So things like concrete and steel, making sure that we're not putting in too many common corridors and things like that.
Okay.
All of that translates back to the best possible purchase price that we can offer.
So that $299,000 apartment also comes with a 6% rental guarantee.
That's correct.
And that's a bit higher than what you've done in Momentum because you've had such success, you can do that. Furniture package, which becomes owned by the purchaser. Wonderful. And also, are you still giving us the stamp duty?
Yes, we are.
So we've got this, we've got the stamp duty too. So you'll rebate the full stamp duty.
That's correct.
So any of our clients looking today, or the viewers looking today that want something very special, a large one bedroom with a big balcony, over 55, 60 square metres, storage facility, car park, and also have the stamp duty rebate and a 6% rental guarantee, and a furniture package, which includes the fridge and the washing machine and the dryer and all those things?
That's correct. So our standard inclusions are stone bench tops, Bosch appliances. We also do a Bosch combination washing machine and dryer. So we only use half the space up within the apartment. We've added additional overhead cabinets into Velocity. We've also added more drawers into the bathrooms. In terms of what we've done in Momentum, we've actually improved the specification quite substantially in a few key areas as well.
See, this works very well for our clients on the Eastern Seaboard, because the simple fact is a lot of the ParkTrent clients, and a lot of people that we meet up with, budding investors that already have one or two properties in the eastern states, they're already paying land tax in New South Wales, land tax in Victoria, and land tax in Queensland. A lot of these people have never been shown the wonderful opportunities in the West, which is Western Australia. So this is something that I'll be promoting throughout the ParkTrent conferences, business conferences that we're doing throughout Australia right at this point in time. And I must say how wonderful it is for you to offer this pricing, first and foremost, and they'll come in at bank valuations, I take it?
Yes.
The furniture package, the rental guarantee, and to top it off, the stamp duty paid for the clients.
That's correct. And you're looking at a city centre location next to West Australia's largest shopping centre.
Yes.
With a direct train to the CBD and less than 10 kilometres from that.
So putting that Western Australia's largest shopping centre in focus with, how would you compare it? I know our ones in Sydney and Melbourne are larger than that, surely, aren't they?
Well, this by Westfield standards, it's a large shopping centre. It's about 120 to 130,000 square metres of retail.
That's very big. That's a lot. And how many people would that employ?
Ooh, I'd need to check that, but pre the expansion, it had over 11 million customers per year going through it. It's a very large
Shopping centre
that services a large part of the eastern catchment of Perth.
And Velocity is right on its doorstep.
Walking distance, yes.
So you're never going to have a problem with the rents at all, are you? And providing the furnished apartments makes it really, really, what would you say, out there. It's very competitive for anybody that's got a rental property.
Yeah, it makes it a more appealing prospect. You can achieve a higher rent. And if there's a choice between your property and another without furniture, generally you'll be the first one to be rented. So there's a lot of advantages to a furniture package.
And also the investor owns that furniture, so therefore can depreciate that furniture and get some tax relief and tax refunds because of it.
That's correct. And
what is the threshold for land tax there? I don't know if you know it. I actually have an idea, and then the last time I looked it was $300,000. That's the land tax threshold. Has it changed, or is it still 300,000?
It's between 250 and 300, but it's somewhere in that range. I'd need to check what it is.
It was 0 up to 300,000 last time I looked. So it's 300,000. So it means that, and what our viewers need to understand is that land tax is not something that compounds from state and territory. It's self threshold each state and territory, and it doesn't compound.
That's correct.
Wonderful. Yeah.
I think the other big selling point for these apartments is our strata fees as well. So most people, when we give them the strata fees, they ask, is that per quarter or per annum? So our strata fees per annum range from $850 to about $1,400 per year.
For the two-bedder, the larger
$850
one.
for a one by one, and then up to $1,400 for the largest 2x2.
And we might say that the two-bedders are 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, car park, storage, fully furnished again, and also their price starts for the 2-bedders at $405,000 off your latest prices.
That's correct.
So
and balconies as well.
Balcony. So if you're comparing that apartment with the outer ring of Melbourne, in the Melbourne city today, and we do a lot of business in Melbourne, that apartment in Melbourne, equivalent apartment furnished would be close to $600,000 and full stamp duty. And you're covering the stamp duty.
That's correct.
You should be dressed in a red gown and with a white beard. Father Christmas today.
Yeah, we feel very confident about this development and this location in the context of Perth and the greater West Australian area as well.
Oh, lovely. Look, I don't think we're going to have any trouble talking to our people about the quality and the value and the incentives that you've produced. And on the viewer now, we have the location. You can see the Westfield Shopping Town there, which is in front of Velocity, and Velocity is adjacent to it. How far away would it be in metres, would you say? It's a walking distance from the shopping centre.
Well, look, Cecil Avenue is the edge of the Westfield Carousel property. I'd say Velocity will be about 70 metres from that.
Lovely. So any young lady wanting security, independence, fully furnished, can rent there, $330, $350 a week. That's the one better would rent for about that, would it?
Yeah, $320 to $330.
$330. So it makes these properties very negatively geared with a positive result. So it would be ideal for a self-managed super fund purchase. Perfect, not a great deal of money, and they work well in the self-managed super fund. I've actually done some homework on this, and it works tremendously. So you don't need a lot of money in your self-managed super fund to get started in this development. Now, when are you going to be able to deliver this product to us? When can we hand it over to our clients? I'm excited.
Look, we're in final negotiations with builders, and we're planning on being on site ideally sometime mid next month.
And then what?
It'll be a 17-month build, so sometime mid to late 2020, which is only next year.
So if one of our clients want to secure one today, say I talk to a client today after this viewing and they'd like to secure one, what money do they need to pay within the next 2 to 3 weeks?
Okay, so if they commit to a contract, it's a 10% deposit within 7 to 14 days of the contract being signed. Then nothing further until completion. So the balance is payable at settlement. So
the 10% deposit goes to your solicitor's trust account?
That's correct. And with that, we'll set up an interest-bearing trust account of which the buyer receives the benefit of the interest over time.
It doesn't get any easier than this, does it, for property investment?
No.
And congratulations to you and your team for coming to Wollongong, presenting this product to us. It's just absolutely wonderful. And these incentives, look, if viewers are out there, this is possibly once in a lifetime that you can get something as good as this. And, I know the old saying is if it's too good, if you think it's too good, maybe it's not worth doing. But this is too good and this is good and you need to be doing it.
Thank you. We're very pleased to be presenting it to you. We've had tremendous success with our first stage. And as such, we've had really strong demand for our second stage as well. So we're very much looking forward to delivering our second tower bigger and better than the first.
Can you tell me a little bit about Western Australia and how it's going now, understanding that we went through a huge growth through the early 2005, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right up to 2013, the property market went really, really crazy in Western Australia because of the infrastructure boom, all the mining coming on, and then all of a sudden the infrastructure was built, the ports, the rail, the roads, all that was done, and those workers actually are not there no more. But from my understanding, we're exporting more minerals out of Western Australia now today than we ever have.
That's correct. In fact, last month in Port Hedland, they broke the record for exporting in terms of the quantity exported between tides. So continually breaking records in terms of the quantity, albeit the price of iron ore and other commodities isn't what it was maybe 7 or 8 years ago. In terms of volumes, we're producing and sending as much as ever.
But also the cost base for the miners and the companies and the corporations for delivering the product now has been reduced substantially because of the mechanism, because of the technology, and I believe even the dump trucks now are all automated.
That's correct. Rio Tinto,
computer operated.
Rio Tinto have a world-class facility set up at Perth Airport, and they've got staff in there that work in Perth that are driving dump trucks in mines in the Pilbara and in the Midwest
From
region.
The Perth Airport.
That's correct, yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've been looking at now some of the new products that are in huge demand, and you might tell me about the battery situation, and I've been reading the Finance Review. I don't fully understand what's happening there, but I see some massive changes with why can't Western Australia's got it all?
Look, West Australia, we're very much a resources-driven state. The resources and commodities as a percentage of our economy would be roughly double that of an eastern state. So we're very more connected to pricing and I guess world commodity prices. We've just come off the back of a once-in-a-generation mining boom. And as you would have seen over the last few years, Perth property prices they've gone down, they've stabilised, and we're starting to see the market come back and correct itself now. In terms of where we see Perth at the moment, I can give you a few figures here. There's $130 billion of projects that are either underway or planned to commence very soon in Perth.
And this is state or federal, or is that private enterprise?
This is state, so this is including new mines. So to give you an example, BHP are building a South Flank mine in the Pilbara region. That's $4.5 billion there. We have a very large LNG gas project called Gorgon. They're about to do another stage of that.
It's up there with Chevron, too. Chevron's huge gas off the coast, isn't it?
Yeah, yep. So this will be almost the equivalent of what they've already got there. Again.
Amazing. Yeah,
so I think they're building a third gas train on the Gorgon development. That's just a few of the many developments. So we've got new lithium mines. So the demand for
and what's that product used for, lithium?
So lithium is the main product
for battery.
That's used for batteries. So electric cars, housing batteries, mobile phones. They're all predominantly based.
So that can only grow and grow because they're talking about no petrol cars in the next 25 to 30 years.
That's correct, and we're months away from a new lithium processing facility being opened in Kwinana, which is the industrial area that services Perth. There's a mine called Greenbushes, which is about to expand. There's another 2 or 3 new lithium mines coming up in Western Australia, and Western Australia's been touted as a potential location for batteries to be produced because it's one of the few places in the world where all of the elements required, and there's over 20 of them, I believe, can be mined in order to produce batteries.
Oh, wonderful. And when you look at Saudi Arabia now and the oil and the amount of money that's been made there by those nations, maybe Western Australia's going to be the same.
Potentially. We've certainly got a lot of natural resources at our disposal, and that's an advantage that some places just don't have. And
the other thing that it slipped under the radar, and using that as a punt here, understanding that Qantas now is marketing and promoting their one-stop shop or no stops to Europe out of Perth. And this is creating a lot of traffic for the Perth airport and a lot of goodwill there and a lot of overnight stays, all that type of thing, because a lot of people that I know in the eastern states are flying to Perth, spending a couple of days and catching their flights to the UK and the United States of America. And that's something that's a great booster for the local economy.
Yeah, that's correct. And we've got thousands of new hotel rooms. So
so that's why.
Over the last 5 years, Perth has gone from moderate hotel accommodation to a lot of really high sort of 4 and 5 star hotels. So we've got a brand new Western Tower, Crown Towers as well, which is the casino.
Can't get away from my Pacific Hotel. I love it. I love it in St George's Terrace. That's where I stay all the time when I go there.
We still enjoy the classics as well.
Yeah, lovely. No. Look, I just think there's so much opportunity in Western Australia. Sure enough, it's had its bumpy ride, but as you say, and I know that's true, that it's now settled down. And the vacancy factor, I believe, in Perth is in line with what's in Sydney and Melbourne at the moment. It's around 2.4%, which is quite comfortable. We can work with that.
Yeah, it's the last 2 quarters, it's gone down quite substantially. So we're expecting to see upward pressure on rents soon, and it's all positive signs for property and a good reason to invest now.
So when does the rental guarantee start for our clients? Let's assume that I buy one today, I settle tomorrow. When do I start getting my rent?
So we will generally try and tenant your property as soon as possible. At the moment...
No, but the guarantee?
Oh, the guarantee. So the guarantee will start a month after settlement.
After settlement.
Yeah. So we'll start marketing the property months before settlement takes place.
So the worst case is that the property could be vacant for a couple of weeks, and then you'll start paying regardless.
That's correct.
Okay, so, but if and like we run our property management businesses throughout Australia, if a client is settling on a property in 4 to 5 weeks' time, we're already marketing that property. We're already taking inquiries on that property from realestate.com, etc., so that we get ready for when the handover's over, that we've got tenants that we can show them through. You do the same thing?
Yeah, that's correct. We manage 50 properties or more in momentum at the moment. And even when we don't have any vacancies and no advertisements up, we're getting inquiry for people asking us when we've got vacancies coming up, because it is the number one location in the area. It's secure, it's walking distance. And it's also another big driver of rental demand for that is also the proximity to Curtin University. So both of these developments are across the road from direct bus routes that go to and from Curtin. So there's a lot of people are renting for university as well. This is predominantly international uni students who will apply, but again, we only look at the most preferable tenants in terms of...
we do rent to university students in Victoria and also in Sydney. And let me tell you, one of the criteria that we ask for from them is a copy of their bank statements. And a lot of these students have a considerable amount of money in their bank accounts. Mum and Dad are really looking after them. So they've been very good tenants for the ones that we've rented to in Victoria particularly. And Melbourne the same as well.
Yeah, all I can say is when you're the number one location, you have the luxury of choosing the best tenants for your property. And to date, we've had really good tenants and a really strong response.
So your expert advice, you've done Momentum, it's worked well. It's all rented and purchased, it's sold out, good returns for your owners, good tax deductions. Now, how do you see the future capital growth of Momentum and Velocity? How do you see that? What do you think? Say, give us a 10-year forecast. Where do you think they'll be?
Look, if you look at traditionally in Perth, properties have doubled sort of every 10 years. The last 3 to 4 years, that has been exceptional circumstances given the changes, given the come down from the once-in-a-generation mining boom. But we see strong potential for capital growth now because prices at Perth are at their lowest as they've been since, I think, 2008.
Yeah, our stats are telling us we're 2007, 2008 prices.
Yep.
And there's massive growth between 2008, 2017, 2018. So now is the best time. The prices cannot get any lower than they are now.
That's correct. And when you're looking at location, you're buying in an up-and-coming city centre that's less than 10 k's from the Perth CBD. There will be future development around there, which will be positive for capital growth of these locations. But when the area is developed out, this will still be the number one location in the centre. Okay,
good. And Velocity is 12 kilometres from the CBD of Perth?
I think it's even less than that.
Is it less than that?
Yep.
So, and the access to Perth is by. I know there's good freeways. I've been on them many times. Does the rail system work there too?
Yep. So it's walking distance to the Cannington train station, and that goes directly into the Perth CBD, which is also via the brand new Perth Stadium and via Crown Casino as well.
Oh, I've been to the casino.
Not necessarily suggesting you stop on either of those on the way to work.
I've been to the casino and I've done all right there too, I might add. Okay, so is there anything else we need to talk about and tell these wonderful clients about our wonderful list? So what we've got is we've got perfect pricing, affordable pricing, wonderful rental guarantee, full furniture package which becomes owned by the purchaser, and that includes fridge, washing machine, dryer, etc., etc. A television?
Not a television, but if people do want one, we can source them at wholesale rates.
Okay, so maybe television. We have to talk to Bryan about that. But leave that with me. That's my job, to get you the best possible deal I can. So do we have any questions from the floor, guys? Do we have anything coming in?
We have a couple of questions. So Marcus from Greystein asks, how much deposit do I need and will I get along with the banking industry?
So Marcus from
Greystein.
That's Queensland way, I believe? West Sydney. Yes, Marcus, look, your question is how much deposit do you need? Well, first up, if I was meeting you today to secure the property, you would need to put $1,000 down. And then within 14 days to 21 days, you'd need to put in the balance of the deposit, which will be 10%. So on the 299,000, it'll be 29,900 that you'll need to find 29,900 within 21 days. And when you get finance for it, more than likely there wouldn't be an opportunity, it wouldn't be a situation where you would not get finance, because the simple fact is you've got a 10% deposit. If you've got a good job and you've got good credit history, that should not be a problem for you. The thing is, let's look at it. We'll talk to you. We will not get you involved in this purchase if we don't believe we can get the finance for you at the end of the day. That's something that we have to be responsible about. Okay? I hope that answers your question. Do you have any more questions? We've got a couple here. One came through, it's just like, why would I invest in WA and not in New South Wales? It's the other side of the country. Maybe you'd like to answer that, Bryan?
I can do that. Perth is considered a market that's hit the bottom and it's bouncing along the bottom. It's a very good time to buy. To give you an example of that, last year the HIA came out with an affordability index. So to give you to compare the affordability of Perth at the moment versus Sydney and Melbourne, Perth was 111.7 in terms of being highly affordable. Sydney was 53.7 and Melbourne was 63.5. So in terms of affordability, it's putting a very strong case forward. And during the mining boom, Perth was almost at parity to Sydney, which is unheard of. So it's come down all the way to where it is today. So we believe Perth represents very good value. And it's also exposing yourself to a different market as well, which is diversifying your portfolio. So the question was, again, please.
Why would I choose to invest in WA over New South Wales?
Well, all the reasons that Bryan said, but also remember too, if you're buying at a price point, which you can't buy anywhere in New South Wales, a brand new apartment, 1 bedroom for $299, or a 2-bedroom apartment for $405. But I also understand you've got a rental guarantee that which is substantial at 6%, and you also have full stamp duty being paid, which is a great saving, and you also have a furniture pack that's going to be put in there, and you're going to own it, which you're going to be able to depreciate. So this is something that you really need to consider. This is a wonderful offer. There's no smoke and mirrors here. This is genuine upfront. There's a developer sitting beside me and promising all these things, and we'll make sure it's all part of the contract. So my answer to you is, why wouldn't you buy this?
And the other thing I'd add to the rental guarantee is for a development that's going to be completed in 2020, I mean, 2 years on top of that, you're extending your guaranteed rent out to late 2022. So
yes, it's wonderful.
It's security for a long time.
Yes. Any further questions?
Yeah, we've got another one coming. Yeah, is this a negative geared or positively geared property?
Well, I have this debate with so many investors. They say, I'm only interested in buying a positively geared property. There's no properties positively geared. You have to make them positively geared. How do you make them positive? You have to put in. So you have to put in deposit monies to lower the debt, lower how much you're borrowing, or you get massive rents to over and above the purchase price. So the correct definition is it's negatively geared with a positive result, and it's way positive. It would be around, on a person earning around $50,000 to $60,000 a year, this would be negatively geared, borrowing 100% of the money by around about $90 to $100 per week. Remembering that you've got the furniture package as a depreciation item, you also have the building brand new, depreciable too. So this is a wonderful opportunity. So negatively geared with a positive result, borrowing 100% of the money.
This one's probably a good follow-up to that, actually. It's just like, isn't negative gearing being abolished? What's the point of investing if it is going to be negatively geared?
Should I answer this one, Bryan? Okay.
Look, what I would say is any discussions on negatively geared properties have still included new properties as being available for negative gearing, and
Yes.
The suggestions are that any negative gearing changes will be grandfathered as well. So if you purchase prior to the changes being made, you'll still be able to obtain those.
And I think we'll qualify that. The purchase, you don't have to take delivery. It's signing the contract is the recognised time of the purchase. So you purchase it next week before the election. If Labor becomes the next government, they have stated that they will abolish negative gearing, incentive programs to established homes, but they will grandfather it to anybody that's already negatively gearing, so nothing will change. So there's a height of urgency here. And an extension to this question, which is very important, is also there will be substantial changes to the capital gains tax discount in the marketplace right at the minute. And most of our viewers that are seasoned property investors understand that if you make a profit on an investment property or share portfolio, or if you sell a vintage car, you pay tax on only 50% of that profit. So $100,000 profit, you pay tax on $50,000. Under the proposed changes by the opposition, the Labor Party, we will be paying taxes on $75,000 of that $100,000. But here again, we've been assured that there'll be a grandfather clause in there and nothing will change.
Nothing will change for anybody that's already involved in property investment. Will stay at the old thing. So what you need to do, if you'd like to find out more information, I'm certainly willing to come and meet with you. I've got some senior people that can also help and assist me with a number of the appointments. Please book an appointment through the Skype here today so that we can come and see and talk to you about this wonderful property. We can bring along with floor plans. We can bring along an analysis, a property analysis, a spreadsheet if you like, that we can do your particular set of circumstances in your home, in your place of business, and show you exactly the outcome. As I've said earlier, this property will be negatively geared with a positive result. It cannot be anything else other than that because of the generosity of this wonderful man sitting beside me, Bryan. Thank you so much for coming along. I hope our viewers appreciate how wonderful this offer is. We've come to them today in their place of business, in their workplace, in their home, bearing gifts, and they're genuine gifts, aren't they?
Yeah, and I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate you taking the time to look at our wonderful new development.
Thankfully, and I'll come over, and I hope that you take me for dinner at the Crown Casino. And I'll show you how to play blackjack. Thank you so much, viewers, for coming on board and spending time with us today. Please enjoy the rest of the day. Keep safe and buy some properties. Thank you.